greetings. I just joined, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtapraeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees to this Sunday's discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam as part of Bhakti Vaibhav course. Prema Prakash Haridas Prabhuji, you want to have your presentation in the beginning for the temple construction sponsorship? Or you want...
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay. So
whichever way suits. I'm ready, Prabhuji.
Yeah, up to your preference. Yeah,
Prabhuji, there are two components. I'll take about 2-3 minutes for the meeting that we had and give a perspective of the meeting. And the video is of about 14.5 minutes. So would you like me to present it now or at the end? Whichever way suits you.
Yes. Okay. We can have it now, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Right. All right. I'll make you co-host. Right. 1 second. Yeah, you're already...
I'm a co-host, Prabhuji. I'm a co-host. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. So you can share your screen.
Prabhuji, I'll go through the meeting part of it first. It appears the sharing of the video is a little bit of a problem. I'll correct it in the meantime. Is that all right, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji, fine. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We had a meeting last week and Namanishta Das Prabhuji, His Divine Grace, was worried about well-being of all the devotees, and he was also concerned about the spiritual stability that we have achieved and the progress of the in the spiritual path. He has been really concerned and he wants us to make the Bhakti Vriksha group and then connect with each other and remain supportive of each other with the association continuously. This is worried all the time in spite of, as you all know, the construction activity at the temple is in a very hectic phase. What I mean by hectic phase is it's going on very fast now. And since it is a peak of the performance, it also needs finances. He has not uttered a single word about it, which we then asked. And then he suggested that yes, he needs donations. So, as we all are the part of the family, and wherever we are, it's all because of the teachers like Pran Chaitanya Prabhuji, Namanishta Das Prabhuji, Aishwarya Mataji, etc. And they have shown us the path. I think we all are indebted to them. And Namanishta Das Prabhuji considers Bhakti Vaibhav as the topmost flagship of the teaching that is going on at the moment. And so, obviously, as we gain more of such considerations, we also have a responsibility towards mandirs or temples uh, problems and issues. The issues at the moment are, of course, the finances. And so I would request all of the devotees who are attending this class to look into the matter of the finances. And as much as possible, if we could do a seva at this moment, it would go a very long way. Many a times it happens that we are in the process of doing seva, but if the time goes away, then the seva has less meaning. At the moment, since the temple activities are going very fast, of course, it needs more finances. And so, probably a rupee given would be worthwhile 100 rupees at this moment. So, I would request all of you, though Prabhuji is not asking, he is facing the issues. And if we can look into our own finances and can dig up and help and do seva to the temple, and especially if we are going to do it in a foreseeable future, then we can do it now. That would make a long, lot of difference to the temple and the project that Prabhuji has taken up. So the personal request is looking into the finance part of it and performing seva as much as possible. Prabhuji, the video is already in the group. Can you play it from
Okay,
Bhakti Vaibhav group? If I think
let
you would
me-
be able to do
Prem
that.
Prakash Prabhuji. Prem Prakash Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
With
Hare
Krishna's
Krishna
grace,
Mataji.
Prabhuji, with Krishna's grace and Lord, I mean Almighty's mercy, I have donated for one guest room, Prabhuji.
Lovely. In fact, we are in a process of making a Google form, and it would be ready by Monday or Tuesday. And then with Pran Chaitanya Prabhuji's permission, I'll send over the form on the group, and then each one can fill up the form for those who have done seva. For an example, if I have done seva recently about 10 days ago, then I would fill up the form and send it over. So the Prabhuji has the record of
Yes,
the
Prabhuji.
things. And also our teacher, Pran Chaitanya Prabhuji is our teacher and the leader. He should also have all the information at his hand. So I would send the form day after tomorrow, and then each one, whosoever has done seva in last 6 months, can fill up that form for our teacher's notice. Hare Krishna to
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One more thing which I wanted to add, Pran Chaitanya Prabhu, many of them are multi-language. So some of, for example, Tamil, na, so whatever contribution we've done, we've reported there also. So one more thing which we decided we will do there, which I thought we can also do here, is so far we've been talking only with devotees among ourselves and contributing. But there are a lot of people who want to do some charity, either on birthdays or, so if we can speak to somebody else, like, our friends, family, even if they do small amount, it will be nice. And they've been
Yes.
wanting to do a lot of such seva. They have actually requested that, if such information comes, they'll be happy. So if we are wishing them for birthday, we can also put this across, or even casually talk about benefits and glories of the thing. Through that, we were able to source decent amount in about 3 days' time. So I just thought, since we are already in Bhakti Vaibhav, it will be a nice way of indirect reaching also. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
It's good idea, Mataji.
So there is one video which is now going to, which Chaitanya Prabhuji is showing us. It's already in the group. And that shows the present situation of the construction of the temple. Prabhuji himself is explaining everything. And there is another PowerPoint presentation with Prabhuji's permission. We'll present it during the next class. These two are most important things which will give us an insight of the present situation and how we are in the construction process. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Are all of you able to view my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, let me play the video and let me know if you can hear the audio as well. 1 second. Oops. Sorry, where is the setting for audio to be shown also? 1 second. Hold on.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. 1 second. Hold on.
Prabhuji, there's an option called share with computer audio.
One second. Share with computer audio. Okay, hold on. Share screen.
If you right click it, it will be there too.
Under share screen or
Yeah, while you're sharing screen, either it will throw up on the bottom left, or there will be an option which
share
says,
sound. Yes, I
yeah,
got
share
it.
screen. Right.
Yes. Okay, let me see. Is it audible now, the audio?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine.
Krishna. Something interesting, all of you to see. Srila Prabhupada Mantra is
Yes,
getting
Prabhuji.
ready. Now there are still work on it. As you can see, there will be lines all around. You see the bases, we'll have a lines will be kept all around. And there will be a beautiful lotus which will be put inside, but otherwise you can see this is getting ready. This whole work was done in Makrana and they brought it in pieces and they have fitted. So this is Srila Prabhupada Mantra. You can give them a close look also and around as the designs have been done. So similarly, just imagine the Lord's altar is going to come, which will be very huge. Just a sample. These are all pillars which have been carved very nicely. Okay. Now what will start is 1 month of polishing of this, then it will look very bright and beautiful. Presently the structure is ready and we thank the people who have supported us to finish this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. One of the beautiful things is that when people come inside, they come in the temple, first thing they will see is Srila Prabhupada altar. And as it is Mayapur, you have seen the DT Srila Prabhupada, they're always taking darshan of Radha Govinda opposite to temple. Now this is a massive altar which is coming. In fact, we are having in the center Gaur Radha Krishna, and two sides we are having panels of one side is Udupi Krishna and other that will be marble carving, and other side is the marble carving for Prahlad Narasimha. So these two are coming on the two sides, and a huge mantap. If you can imagine going to the top with nice decorations, it will go up. There will be a huge, a door of wooden door, nicely carved, which will be the open, and backside is Gaur, Radha, Krishna, deities. Everywhere below there will be nice carvings to make it a beautiful altar. Why there is a gap here? This is because we have an inlay coming, a big inlay, which will be not inlay in the sense, we are sometimes they scratch marble little and stick some sticker. No, it is actually marble pieces of different colors which will be interlocked to form an inlay. Such an inlay will be permanent. Many times what they do is that they chip little marble and fix some color or something, that goes away. But what we are going on for is actually marble pieces which will be fitted interlocked to make a beautiful design. So we have kept space ready, otherwise, we have to cut this marble. So this is coming here, and there will be 4 inlays around, 4 flowers. Basically, inlays are generally made in the shape of a flower, and above this flower on the top will come with a huge fan, along with a beautiful design. In the center will be a fan, because that big fan that you see in many places now, that will keep the place cool. And you can also see outside our false ceiling work is going on. So for the next 2 months, what will be happening here is actually carvings. All the pillars will be covered up now, so with the scaffolding, so it will make it very beautiful. This false ceiling, each time this false ceiling team does work, they make a unique design. They never replicate. They have done it for various temples, and I saw very good output. So this is before the coloring. This also will be colored with the golden color, but presently you can see one design here of the flower, and another one you can see coming out. Then as an alternate, another one going in. So this is just the basic design. Now the lighting and the painting has to happen in this. So this is taking shape. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. I think last time also we discussed with you, this is going to be the on a weekly basis, daily basis, a prasadam hall where we expect some 200-300 people to daily be there, so we can prasadam arrangements ready here. This is just to relieve the main beautiful auditorium from prasadam. And these are the rooms. As you can see, these are the seminar rooms which we have put all around the balcony. So this is one of the seminar rooms where we can have small seminars or 25 people. And we have made immediately many rooms like this. So not only we have seminar rooms, we have rooms where you can meet devotees. This is another seminar hall. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is the corner of the temple which is known as Southwest. So this is the best place for management. So here we have rooms for different devotees involved in temple management. And we have here one more beautiful room. So that we can all make decisions of the temple. You can see nice fresh air. And below here you can see the accommodation block. We also call it residential college. You can see the pillars are about to rise here. The foundation is done on one side. Other side the foundation work is about to complete. Here, this is the accounts room, which will also be useful in the administration area. Hare Krishna, this room is presently hardware room, but after that it is designated to be CCTV room, where all the CCTVs you can see, and maybe also for repair of our electronic components. This is a festival planning room, where we will, what we also known as board room, where whenever we have festivals or other events, so we can all sit together and plan. And these are continuous rooms for when you all come. They like to meet devotees. They will be given facility. You can sit in a room and discuss. And we also will have one interesting room here, which we are making into Prabhupada reading room, Prabhupada books reading room. Here we are planning that we will have Prabhupada Murti writing books, and all around people can sit and they can chant there, or they can read Srila Prabhupada books there. So this will be a nice Prabhupada meditation room. We can have different pictures of Prabhupada life all around. This is what we want to do. Let us see how good it can be accomplished. So you can see the temple hall from how it looks from balcony. So we have the Srila Prabhupada altar here. They will be on the top, beautiful false ceiling, much bigger and beautiful than what I showed you outside. And other end we will have the main altar and some big surprise for you that is in the roof. A place for Guru Maharaj. Some of you know, in Mayapur, Guru Maharaj has a room on the top. So this is what we have made. There is the one room for his private room for him, another room for him to give darshan, meet people, and this will be servant quarters. Other devotees assisting him, they stay, and as the people gather, they can go in the morning and evening. People can come and even sit down, take darshan. So if Guru Maharaj is not there, other sannyasis they come, they can also stay here. So devotees always will have an opportunity to take good association of a service. In fact, this was the last minute planning. So there was no lift coming to the top, so we had to do some adjustment, and so that because lift was opening on that side and there was no space, so we had to do some adjustment work here, but that is fine and the purpose is served. Hare Krishna, thank you. Hall where you can sit and chant and feel the fresh air. Hare Krishna. Big walls. So this is quite big. This is something like 5 feet by 14 feet. So we are having 2 paintings coming. But we showed the big painting, which we are all, I think we are showing it Radha Govinda main group, as the fiber work will come there. Presently, the design is being done in clay. Then a mold will be made and made into fiber, nicely painted in different colors. This side is Krishna Leela, here is the Dashavatara, and this side will be the Hare Krishna. So some of the paintings have been doing a very good progress. You can see this painting of Lord Chaitanya and the Sankirtana. This is done in soft clay now. Now it will be converted into fiber. And they will make a cast of this and then put fiber and then paint it. This is another painting of Lord Chaitanya and Nama Sankirtana. These all are going to adorn the temple hall all around. Some are of Lord Chaitanya Leela, of Krishna Leela. This is unimaginably beautiful. This is coming behind the Narasimha altar. This is Ramanujacharya with his special deity. And here is Madhvacharya with the Krishna deity. I just provided in the photographs and they sat and have done the work in clay. They're waiting for confirmation. Then they will make that whole thing into fiber. Then we have, this is Amasya Avatara of the Lord. And then we have another Avatara, Buddha. Very beautifully done, as good as the paintings that we gave them. They are a big team they have put to work on all this. And they very soon will be bringing one by one all of them and delivering to us. This is, Masarikutike is very famous in Bangalore. Krishna Balaram playing and, stealing butter. So this painting will also be very attractive. These all will be painted. Now they are just, being made into the shapes. This is 3D paintings, Krishna, Rukmini, Aparana. So this is Krishna kidnapping Rukmini. And then we have very famous painting of Krishna, washing the feet of Sudama. So this looks like a total 3-dimensional picture all around the temple hall. And then very intimate, very divine pastime where Lord Chaitanya reveals his form as Radha Krishna to Ramananda Rai. Can you even imagine the shadow is also visible? Anyway, so please request your participation. These paintings, as you already know, can all be sponsored, or the other parts of the temple can be sponsored. We can quickly finish this project. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Isn't it very
Hare
inspiring?
Krishna.
Prabhuji has put so meticulous planning in terms of our cultivating our own sadhana, as well as educational aspects of devotees growing, flourishing in Krishna consciousness, as well as facilities for all of us to come together, associate with His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. All other sannyasis, senior devotees will be visiting, and so many beautiful paintings to keep our Krishna consciousness vibrant and flourishing. So I guess let's plan based on our own individual capabilities, whatever best possible. And I remember during 2009, 2010, when the construction of some of the other major projects within International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, was in progress in Pune. Even now, certain temples are in progress in certain parts of Mumbai. They are almost nearing completion. None of these temples have come up without active contribution and sacrifice by the community members. So as a gesture of our gratitude to Namanishta Prabhuji and all the devotee community over in ISKCON Bangalore, we are best suited, we are best placed to understand what we can contribute. And that contribution should be such that there should be at least slight pinch. It cannot be that we stay in the comfort zone and then try to give. We can feel slight pinch, but rest be assured, as Prabhupada mentioned so many places, that Krishna, he's not in need. Whatever we have is by his mercy. and whatever we are able to contribute, that is our greatest fortune. So one thing is for sure, temple will be completed. It's only the question whether we be fortunate to take part in that project and purify our facilities, whatever Krishna has granted us. So thank you all very much. We resume the Bhakti Vaibhav session. Give me 1 minute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I add a couple of points, Prabhuji?
Yes, Sadhatushta.
Just 1 or 2 minutes. Thank you, Prem Prakash Haridas Prabhu, for bringing this important topic here. So, in my ignorance, what I was thinking is like little Saiva, whatever we have done. I think I was thinking that enough funds are coming already for the temple, and temple is progressing very nicely. That general body meeting from Namanishta Prabhu opened our eyes. And I was thinking what we can do. So in our level 2 class, about 30-40 devotees, we all joined hands. Similarly, we presented and we formed a separate WhatsApp group. And we, through various motivating messages, we collected almost more than 11 lakhs. In fact, we only thought for collecting about 2 lakhs, one Udupi Krishna marble portrait, but it got up to 11 lakhs. And when we discussed this, Namanishta Prabhu also realized lot of teachers, devotees are doing such services in isolation. Now, what he has done is he has brought everybody under one umbrella and under the leadership of Namanishta Prabhu, all the language leaders, and they have been made super coordinators, and they have identified about 90 groups in all the languages, different classes, active classes they have identified and made these coordinators. That's how Prema Prakash Prabhu is also one of the coordinator driving this initiative. So collectively, when we see since that particular time, now almost 1 crore has been collected by the mercy of Shishi Radha Govind and all our Guru Parampara. So collectively, we can do a lot more. And one challenge what I foresee for Bhakti Vaibhav class is all of us or some or the other in our personal capacity we have already done, or we have associated with as a teacher or something in different groups there we might have done. So how we can do, devotees who are already can contribute more can definitely do. One area what I have seen is we have so many contacts within ISKCON or outside ISKCON. We can always share about this project and then see if they can also contribute to for that project. So that way we can also contribute, extending our support. So one personal example is some of the friends with whom I have contacted, they have nothing to do with ISKCON. They have never heard about Hare Krishna Mahamantra or Krishna consciousness. Even such devotees with our relationship, they have contributed almost 1 lakh I could collect that way and give it to the temple. Similarly, there are about 36 devotees here. Whatever you can contribute from your end, you can do. And if you can reach out to your contacts, even if you can keep a target of 50,000 rupees per head, we can collect almost 15 lakhs and give it to the temple. This is one more suggestion I thought of giving already. Radhika Mataji from Tamil group and many such devotees are all reaching in Malyalam group. They're all reaching out. So my humble request, see what more we can do, because whatever we have collected so far, in the final stage, the requirement for Lakshmi is a lot more. So more we bring in, faster, sooner we can complete this project. And as very nicely said by Pran Chaitanya Prabhu, that we contribute or we don't contribute, this temple is going to inaugurate Balram Jayanti by the mercy of our Guru Parampara. It's now in our hands. Can we do more? And can we take that extra pinch? So giving money, what we have is very easy, but asking 10 people for this, that is where our false ego, pride, everything will purify. So that way we can try and do whatever maximum from all of us. So this is my humble request. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sadhatushta Achyut Prabhuji. So let's begin now. 1 second. Hare Krishna, Rasaragini Mataji, you want to go live?
Prabhuji, we are live
It is
already.
already live, Prabhu.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's have a quick recap of what was discussed last time. We discussed last time how Ashwatthama, one after another, there have been Jaganya, very ghastly activities, sinful activities being performed from his side in terms of his vengeful attitude towards Pandavas, who are great devotees of Lord Krishna. And despite being pardoned by the magnanimous, big-hearted Draupadi, with various 6 reasons that we went through why Ashwatthama should not be killed, still Ashwatthama, as a gesture of being ungrateful, he has finally released Brahmastra on the last remaining descendant of the Kuru dynasty. Bhagavatam specifically mentions that although the Pandavas and the Kauravas, because of some differences within the family, they were known, Pandavas were also the descendants of Kurus. So now that the Kauravas were more or less all finished, except for the patriarch Dhritarashtra, the last descendant of Kuru was growing in the womb of Uttara Maharaj Parikshit. And Ashwatthama attacked this small child within the womb of his mother. And we see that Uttara approached Lord Krishna in total desperation and pleaded to the Lord that even if I be burnt, that is fine, but please save the child within my womb. And Lord Krishna offered his protection by covering the womb of Uttara and personally giving darshan to the child within the womb, Parikshit Maharaj. So, and it is mentioned in text 15, O Shaunaka, glory of the Bhrigu family. Although the supreme Brahmastra weapon released by Ashwatthama was irresistible, without check or counteraction, it was neutralized and foiled when confronted by the strength of Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So we see that although the Pandavas were all ready with their weapons to counteract the Brahmastra weapon, Lord Krishna understood the urgency and the overwhelming nature of the Brahmastra for Pandavas to not be able to counteract it on their own strength, and personally protected the child within Uttara's womb. So now we come to the last verse before the start of Queen Kunti's glorious prayers, which are from text 18 onwards. So we quickly want to check, did devotees get a chance to go through these prayers and Srila Prabhupada's translations and purports? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much to hear so many positive responses. It is very encouraging, and gradually we are improving, which is good. We request for rest of the devotees as well, who probably due to some ABC reason could not read in advance, to please come well read, not just for your own benefit, but as our sincere service to all the devotee participants. That whether I benefit or not, but I want to sincerely contribute to the devotees learning well. So this particular text is important. Let's go back to the verse. We recite the verse and then we come to discuss. This is text 16. Any devotee wants to recite this verse in proper meter? Gita, Pradeep Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. You are comfortable with the English text, or shall I show Devanagari?
Oh, okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, once. You want Devanagari?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay, fine.
Samashritaye
Oh, no,
paripariya.
one second, not this text. Yes.
Brahmatejo vinimukte.
Brahmatejo vinimuktai
Atmaja saha Krishnaya.
Atmajai
Saha Krishna.
Prayanabhimukham Krishnam.
Prayana
Krishna.
Idam aha dasati.
Idam aha sati.
Sati.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you much. So in this particular verse, the word sati is very important, which has been used by Suta Goswami, Shukadev Goswami to describe the quality of devotion by Pritha by Queen Kunti. So Srila Prabhupada explains very much in detail the significance of practicing a sati bhakti, practicing a very chaste, loyal devotional service. Gita Mataji, you want to read through the
Yes,
translation?
Prabhuji. Translation. Thus saved from the radiation of the Brahmastra, Kunti, the chaste devotee of Lord, and her 5 sons and Draupadi addressed Lord Krishna as he started for home.
Yes, and you can read through the highlighted part of the purport. You can start with the first line.
Yeah. Kunti is described herein as Sati or chaste due to her unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna. Her mind will now be expressed in the following prayers for Lord Krishna. A chaste devotee of the Lord does not look to others, namely any other living being or demigod, even for deliverance from danger. That was all along the characteristics of the whole family of the Pandavas. They knew nothing except Krishna, and therefore the Lord was also always ready to help them in all respects and in all circumstances. That is the transcendental nature of the Lord. He reciprocates the dependence of the devotee. One should not therefore look for help of imperfect living beings or demigods, but one should look for all help from Lord Krishna, who is competent to save his devotees. Such a chaste devotee also never asks the Lord for help, but the Lord, out of his own accord, is always anxious to render it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So here the devotional service of Queen Kunti and the Pandavas is mentioned as Sati, very chaste. And Srila Prabhupada explains that such a Sati devotee, such a chaste devotee, they always depend on Lord Krishna and don't look for any other person to deliver them from the dangerous situation. So Srimad Bhagavatam, it mentions that all our near and dear ones, our relatives, our so-called closed ones in this material world, who exactly are not on the platform of devotional service, they are like soldiers when we are trying to battle out against Maya in this material world, which is a huge ocean to cross. But these soldiers are described by Bhagavatam as the fallible soldiers. Fallible soldiers means the soldiers on whom we can't really depend on. Like there are so many examples. Can we think of any example from the scripture of a devotee who tried to depend on his near and dear ones during the difficult situation, but ultimately felt helpless, unable to get any help from them? Although they were concerned, the relatives, they could not offer him a help. Any devotee's example?
Avanti Brahmana. Avanti Brahmana.
Avanti Brahmana, Avanti Brahmana's example is such that basically he did not get help. Avanti Brahmana's example will come in our discussion subsequently to show how he was in a totally helpless situation. He was rejected by his family, by his relatives, and later on how he learned from different gurus, ultimately surrendering to Lord Krishna. Okay. So Avanti Brahmana's example, basically he was put in a total helpless situation by the Lord. And in fact, his near and dear ones also rejected him, including the close family members. Any other example we can think of?
Draupadi was, when she was disrobed, the husbands could not help her.
Yes. So Draupadi, when she was about to lose her honor, which was more precious to her than her own life, she looked towards the mighty Bhima. She looked towards, and Bhima was all ready to charge, but was being prevented by his elder brother Yudhishthir. She looked towards Yudhishthir. She looked towards the topmost archer, Arjun. And none of them, because of the constraint of the situation where their elder brother, the leader of the Pandavas, Yudhishthir, had already committed her in the game of dice, none of them could come forward to protect her. And finally, she was also trying to protect her honor by holding on to the sari with all her might, but still she was unable to stand in front of the strength of Dushasan. And ultimately she surrendered completely to Lord Krishna. So yes, this is one example where
Gajendra?
yes, Gajendra
Gajendra?
is another famous example where it is mentioned that he was the king of the elephant, and all his queens, children's, friends, relatives, they were standing uh, on the shore of the lake and watching helplessly, wanting to save Gajendra but not being in a position because he was stuck in an environment which was more suitable to the aquatic, the crocodile which had caught his leg. So we see that these are examples of some of the devotees where willingly or unwillingly, none of their near and dear ones were in a position to protect them. But these great devotees like Draupadi and even Gajendra, they remained chaste in their devotional service to the Lord. They did not take did not take help from any of the other great authorities, either any of the strong persons in this material world, including the devatas. So as we will now have a short group activity, considering the time we have, we will have it short because we need more time to cover Queen Kunti's prayers and one more group activity that we have in the end. Can we think of any other examples from the Shastras or as well as from our own lives of devotees who showed complete dependence, like these two examples we showed of Draupadi and Gajendra, of such devotees who showed complete dependence on the Lord, and how Lord protected them in such circumstances. So maybe we won't have this as a breakout room activity, else it will take very long. So you can take a minute or so to think, and then you can raise your hand, whichever example you want to explain, and mention it very briefly in one or two statements. So we proceed after this. So all the devotees are clear what is the ask. We need examples from scripture, Srila Prabhupada's books, or even from our own life of any devotees who showed complete dependence during their difficult situations on Lord Krishna, and how Lord reciprocated with those devotees. Only two hands. We have definitely more examples. So on the
of Devahuti. Sudama Prabhuji. Example.
Okay, 1 second. Let me think. So in case of Devahuti, see, Devahuti's dependence on getting the knowledge to get herself delivered from her own son, Kapila Dev, it was a planned setup. So definitely she took shelter of her own son, Kapila, but that was also the arrangement of Kardama Muni, that once he understood the qualification that Supreme Personality of Godhead himself has been granted in his home as his own son, then he handed over his wife to his son's care and then left the home. But there are also examples of the devotees whose near and dear ones themselves became very hostile, and still the devotees did not compromise. So we will maybe request devotees to explain one. We will take 2 or 3 examples. Shama Gopika Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, we can take the example of Srila Prabhupada as a devotee. Like, he did not have any money when he went on the cruise to America to preach. And then he was like completely dependent on Krishna there. And he had also but he had complete faith that, he once, when he met a stranger, and then he was talking to him, he was asking, where are the temples? Then like Srila Prabhupada said, I can see the temples, I can see the books that we are publishing. And he had complete faith in Krishna, and he was completely dependent. And he had complete faith in his spiritual master also. So that is why he was able to achieve whatever like he want. It was Krishna's mercy. And then he was dependent on the Krishna's mercy and also the previous acharyas.
Yes, very nice example, Shama Gopika Mataji. Srila Prabhupada own faith and complete dependence on Lord Krishna, even in the most difficult circumstances in terms of not having any financial, material support, not having the health and the age on his side, being in a very foreign place without any much acquaintance or support in that new place. And it is also explained, as Mataji mentioned, that Prabhupada had complete conviction that this society with thousands and thousands of devotees from all over the world, it does exist, where millions of books are getting distributed. And Prabhupada very convincingly said to the man, only the time is separating us. So that was his conviction. And at that time, the international society was based in a storefront with not even a proper office or apartment, but in a storefront room, in matchless gift, the ISKCON society was best. So that was one example. Rohini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Another example that I could think of is Vatika and Vyasadeva. Both of them, they were waiting for their child to be born, but like the child was not ready to come out, and they prayed to Krishna, and only then Sukadeva Goswami agreed to come. And they were they didn't go anywhere else. They couldn't help each other, though they, they both are so well learned. But yeah, they completely depended on Krishna.
Thank you, Rohini Mataji, Hare Krishna. We'll take few more devotees. Okay, Murli Kari, no, Murli Prabhu has not raised hand. Adidev Gopesh Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji, Amrish Maharaj.
Yes, Amrish Maharaj not budging an inch despite being confronted and attacked by the fiery demon that was created by Durvasa Muni, and totally dependence on the will of the Lord, not even begging for protection. So yes, Amrish Maharaj's example is one. On the chat, we have few devotees mentioned. Draupadi is one. Then Anand Vilas Keshav Prabhu has mentioned Vibhishan. Yes, Vibhishan, when he came to surrender his life to Lord Ramachandra, the monkey army, including everyone except for Hanumanji, they were quite skeptical about whether to give shelter to Vibhishan. But Lord Ramachandra trusted Hanumanji's evaluation of sincerity of Vibhishan, and he accepted Vibhishan. Then Maharaj Jadabharat, when he was about to be given as a sacrifice by the robbers in front of the deity of Mother Kali, and Jadabharat remained totally dependent on the Lord and did not budge as well. And yes, Prahlad Maharaj is another glorious example on the mention on the chat, and which I have had also mentioned. Sorry, not here. Oops, I thought I put some photos here. Maybe I missed. Murli Prabhu, you want to share something?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I was actually reading a couple of weeks ago about devotees in Kali Yuga who are completely surrendered, apart from the once Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I also read about certain swamis who were completely dependent on that. One person who really impressed me was what was called Sridhar Swami of near Pune, Prabhuji. He became completely a Ram Bhakt. He was a Ram Bhakt, and then he completely defended all his life on him. And it was a very impressive story I read about him. Of course, I did also read about many more, but yeah, this one was quite eye-opening to me. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Murli Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So maybe we'll take one example more and then we proceed. There are lots of such examples of such great souls. So one very glaring example is that of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was in such a hostile situation because of his sticking to the devotional service of Lord Vishnu and not going for any compromise with his own father, who was the topmost of the Asura. And it is mentioned how if Prahlad Maharaj would have compromised with his father and continued his devotional service, definitely still he would have achieved perfection, but then his father would not have got benefited and purified. So because Prahlad Maharaj was very compassionate on Hiranyakashipu, he always thought of his well-being and deliverance, and he did not compromise and continued to speak Krishna Katha and basically openly preach about Lord Krishna and devotional service to Lord Krishna, even to his own father, who was the most hostile of all the Asuras.
Hare Krishna,
So that
Prabhuji. Dhruva Maharaj, Prabhuji.
Dhruva Maharaj, yes. So Dhruva Maharaj, although he was offered so many alternatives by Narada Muni just to test his sincerity, that, my dear child, you are a young child and don't take the insult of your stepmother to your heart. You should forgive her. And Dhruva Maharaj's the answer to Narad Muni was that, my dear sir, whatever you are telling is the highest principle, but somehow it is not able to pacify my heart, which is burning because of the insult that was meted out. So although your instruction is very highest one, I am not able to accept it. And then finally, Narada Muni understood the sincerity of Dhruva Maharaj's purpose and guided him towards Lord Vishnu's devotional service. So many.
Gajendra Moksha is related to
Yes. So we mentioned Gajendra Moksha when we started, Gajendra and Draupadi. So all these examples of the great devotees, we see that they are all very chaste in their own devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada writes very nicely in the purport that a chaste devotee of the Lord does not look to others, namely any other living being or demigod, even for deliverance from danger. That was all along the characteristic of the whole family of Pandavas. So the whole family of Pandavas, their devotional service to Lord Krishna is mentioned as Sati. And the Lord also, in turn, he reciprocates with dependence of such devotees that he would never ever let them be on their own. He will always accompany and be available to support, like he was there in case of Draupadi. He was always present for Prahlad Maharaj, and he also remained present for the Pandavas always, even during their difficult times. So any question, comment, Prabhuji's, Mataji's on this before we proceed to Kunti Stuti? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Actually, my daughter also gave example of Bali Maharaj. So she's saying he showed like Atma Nivedan, right? So
yes. So yes, Bali Maharaj, he himself was threatened by his spiritual master Shukracharya with a curse that if Bali Maharaj continues with his commitment of charity to Vamanadev, then he would lose all his prosperity. And Bali Maharaj basically mentioned that if the Supreme Lord himself is coming for charity, what better fortune can be there? And he readily agreed to receive that curse in terms of losing his prosperity. So thank you, Shama Gopika Mataji. Hare Krishna. So now we start with the crux of this chapter, which are the prayers, the beautiful prayers by Queen Kunti, and they are quite few in number, from text 18 till 43, so around 26 texts in total. And we should try our level best to try and by heart recite, not just as a Bhakti Vaibhav exercise. I have to see through Rasaragini Mataji how many of these verses are for recitation, memorization, but for our own devotional purification and learning to offer prayers. These are very beautiful prayers. Okay, so we'll request some of the devotees to recite for us. Ishwari Murari Priya Mataji, Jagadananda Murari Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Kunti Uvacha.
Kunti Uvacha.
Namaste Purusham Tvadyam.
Namaste Purusham Tvadyam.
ईश्वरं प्रकृते परम्
Ishwaram Prakrite Param
अलक्ष्यं सर्वभूतानां
Alaksham
Aksham
Sarvabhutanam
Sarvabhutanam
अन्तर्बाहिरवस्थितम्
Antar Bahir
Bahiravasthitam.
Translation you can read, Mataji.
Translation. Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything. Yet you are invisible to all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Correct.
Hare Krishna. So in these discussions on Queen Kunti's prayers, we will juggle between Srimad Bhagavatam and the slides to understand the link between different shlokas. So Queen Kunti Devi here is offering her prayers to Lord Krishna. Namaste Purusham to Adyam. So although Krishna from the material relations point of view was Kunti's nephew, she is offering her respects. She is offering her prayers. She is bowing down in front of Krishna. Why? Referring to him as Purusham, as the supreme person, as the real person who can be called as Purusha. But what kind of Purusha, what kind of person he is? To Adyam, that means he is the original personality of Godhead. There is nobody who is the source or who has existed before the Supreme Lord. So it's Adya Purusha. And what kind of Purusha he is? He is also the Ishwaram. That means he is the topmost controller. Prakrute Param. He is the topmost controller of all that exists, of all the material world. And although being such a topmost personality, being all controller of all the material world, he is alaksham sarva bhutana. Alaksham means he is not manifest in his position as the supreme personality of Godhead, as the supreme controller in front of most of the ordinary living entities in this material world, although he is present both internally as Paramatma and he is also present in the outside world in the form of Paramatma feature again in all different species of life or all different smallest molecules, smallest particles of matter. He is also present as Paramatma. So although Lord Krishna is present internally and externally, he remains alaksham, he remains unmanifest or hidden, invisible to ordinary living entities. So, Hare Krishna, Indira Mataji, you want to read through the highlighted part?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Such an enlightened lady could not commit a mistake by offering obeisance unto her nephew. Therefore, she addressed him as the original Purusha, beyond the material cosmos. Although all living entities are also transcendental, they are neither original nor infallible. Queen Kunti affirms that the Lord, although both within and without all living beings, is still invisible. The Lord is, so to speak, a puzzle for the common man.
Yes. So this statement is very significant. The Lord, although when he was present on this earth, he still remained, and even now he remains a puzzle for common man. There are so many people, even in the modern society, who completely misunderstand Krishna, thinking of their own moral values or their own moral codes as being higher than the Lord. Like there was a political leader, we don't want to take any names, but this person mentioned that while he accepts Lord Ramachandra because of him being a Maryada Purushottam, or Lord Krishna because of he also being referred to as the supreme person in the scriptures, but if Krishna playing with the he basically demonstrating the pastime of Rasa Leela with the gopis, if that is true, then I ashamed to call myself a Hindu. Why? Because they consider that their understanding of the moral codes is even higher than what Lord can do or what he cannot do. So they are agreeable to accept the Lord as the Supreme Person, provided he fits within their conception of how the Supreme Person should be or how he should behave. But the Supreme Lord, through his own inconceivable potencies and coverings by Maya, he remains invisible to such foolish observers, as it will be seen in the subsequent verses. In fact, he is both. Both means he is basically the localized Paramatma as well as all pervasive. So he is within the heart as well as everywhere situated outside as well. In fact, he is both, but he reserves the right of not being exposed to persons who are not surrendered souls. This checking means covering. This checking curtain is called the Maya energy of the Supreme Lord, and it controls the limited vision of the rebellious souls. So especially the Lord keeps, Hare Krishna, Rasaragini Mataji, Devika Mataji, just help with the background noise, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So Krishna remains covered from the vision of such persons who are envious of him or who have got the rebellious mentality. They are not completely surrendered. In fact, from devotees as well, we see that he covers them, their vision with Yoga Maya, and to the materialist, he covers their vision with the Mahamaya. So he remains covered as long as he doesn't reveal himself. And so the Acharyas have given explanation that while Krishna is personally present before Kunti and she is offering her prayers to Lord Krishna, why is she referring to Lord Krishna as being invisible? She can definitely see Lord Krishna. That's why she is offering her prayers, and she is completely a realized soul. So why does she feel that Krishna remains invisible? That Kunti Maharani mentions in the subsequent prayer. So let's recite this text 19. And wherever devotees know these Kunti Stuti prayers in proper meter, you can also try to raise your hand so that other devotees also know the meter. They know the proper tone to recite these prayers. Shama Gopika Mataji, Hare Krishna, you want to recite this?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Maya Javanika Channam.
Maya Javanika Channam.
Agyadokshajam avyayam.
Agyadokshajam avyayam.
Nalakshase Moodadrisha.
Nalakshase Moodadrisha.
Nato Natyadharo Yatha.
Nato Natyadharo Yatha. Translation.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor, covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized.
Thank you. Thank you. Maya Javanika Channam. Javanika means curtain. So Krishna is always covered by the curtain of Maya from Agya. Agya means a person who is ignorant. And here Kunti Devi, out of her own ignorance, out of her own humility, is considering herself as being ignorant, that I am not able to realize you, my dear Lord Krishna. I still think of you in terms of our material relation, you being the nephew and I being the aunt. So Kunti Devi, out of her humility, is offering her prayer that to the Agya persons like me, but we can understand that she is definitely not ignorant. She is praying for all of us ignorant, foolish souls in this material world. For such Agya, for such ignorant persons, Lord remains covered by the curtain of Maya. And first of all, Mahamaya is not able to reveal, basically she covers Lord Krishna, but whether she covers Lord Krishna, ideally no. Why? The example is given just like the cloud. Clouds don't have any ability to cover the sun. They can only cover our vision. So in that way, Maya also covers our vision. She does not have ability to cover Lord Krishna as such. And second thing, why this Agya, the ignorant persons, they can't understand Lord Krishna is because he's adhokshajam, avyayam. Because they try to perceive Lord Krishna through the power of their own sense perception, which Lord Krishna is beyond the power of sense perception. That's why he's called adhokshajam, that person who is beyond the purview of the material senses, who is beyond the range of the material conception, who is totally transcendental. So Kunti Maharani is taking a very humble position just to represent the conditioned souls, but she is totally a realized person. Na lakshase muda drisha. And because of this curtain of Maya, because of trying to understand Krishna through one's own senses, such mudas, such foolish, ignorant persons, they cannot see Lord Krishna. The example is given just like on the stage when certain performers, they are dressed in a particular costume, and basically example is given that of a Bharatnatyam dancer or any classical dancer as such. They do lot of mudras to depict various pastimes of Lord Krishna and so on. But for a person who is observing that dance, probably we can observe their acrobatic bodily postures and everything, but we would never be able to get the significance of what they are trying to depict if we don't have some understanding of this classical dance or about the relevant pastimes of Lord Krishna, who this dancer is trying to depict. So, Nato Natya Dharo Yatha, just like these actors or performers on the stage, they are in various costumes, they are doing some postures which can only be understood if we know the subject matter well. Similarly, unless we know the devotional service to Lord Krishna, even a common observer will not be able to appreciate Krishna's position. Then the Acharyas explain that Queen Kunti is referring to herself as Agya, as ignorant. But Lord Krishna is basically thinking that you are offering me such beautiful prayers. How can you be considered as ignorant? Then to this, Kunti Maharani gives one more justification, one more thought, why she considers herself ignorant, unable to understand Krishna. Shama Gopika Mataji, you can read through this part of the purport also.
Okay, the highlighted one, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And yet, there is a class of men with demoniac mentality who are always reluctant to accept the Lord as the supreme absolute truth. This is partially due to their poor fund of knowledge and partially due to their stubborn obstinacy, which results from various misdeeds in the past and present. Such persons could not recognize Lord Sri Krishna even when he was present before them. Another difficulty is that those who depend more on their imperfect senses cannot realize him as the Supreme Lord. Such persons are like the modern scientists. They want to know everything by their experimental knowledge. But it is not possible to know the Supreme Person by imperfect experimental knowledge. He is described herein as Adhokshaja, or beyond the range of experimental knowledge.
Thank you.
Should
Thank
I
you.
continue?
No, we'll discuss some examples. Okay. So here the important word is stubborn obstinacy. There were few characters even during the lifetime of Lord Krishna who had this nature of stubborn obstinacy. Can we think of any examples, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, of a person that Krishna performed so many wonderful pastimes, but these stubborn, obstinate persons had justification of each of these incidences or pastimes of the Lord, why they are ordinary. They had their own conceptions and justifications. Why Krishna is an ordinary person. Can we think of any examples?
Duryodhana, Prabhuji.
Duryodhana, yes. Can you give any incident where Lord Krishna showed wonderful qualities?
Yes. When he came as a peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, a peace messenger, and that at that time he showed the he tried to bind them. They tried to capture him with ropes, which was not
Arrest.
possible. And then yes,
And
and then it was
Go
Krishna
ahead.
showed his real form, yeah? And then he gave also the eyesight to
Duryodhana.
Dhritarashtra to see it. But still, after that, when Dhritarashtra tried to convince him, he said to him that he is a Mayavi, or a kind of a magician.
Magician.
That is one example I can think of.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So this is a very wonderful example of Duryodhana basically mocking Krishna that by your this Maya the yogic potency, do you think you are going to scare me off? Not at all. And in fact, Duryodhana tried to arrest Lord Krishna when Lord Krishna had gone as a peace messenger. So this is one example. Any other examples we can think of? Prabhuji's, Mataji's, will request devotees who have not spoken. Usha Kamat Mataji, Hare Krishna. Any example we can think of a stubborn, obstinate person who never understood Lord Krishna's position?
Shishupal Prabhuji.
Shishupal, yes. Who mentioned this? Hare Krishna.
Hare
Is it
Krishna.
Lalita Vinodini Divya Rukmini?
Dhanya Dhameshwari.
Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji. Yes, Shishupal is another very classic example. You would all be surprised to know that Shishupal had justification to prove how each of Lord Krishna's glorious pastimes was an ordinary incident and which happened due to some misunderstanding by the Brajavasis. So basically, when Krishna subdued Kaliya, Shishupal mocked Krishna, saying that you have just tried to subdue and handle a water snake, an ordinary water snake. So that is no big deal. You know, a non-poisonous snake, even a child can handle. So although Kaliya's poison was so severe that the vapors from those poisons used to kill the birds flying over the Yamuna lake, as well as the trees and all the grasses around that particular area, the Kaliya lake, they had all dried up and gotten burnt, except for the particular tree which was blessed by Garuda with some nectar. Only one tree was alive in the vicinity. So although Kaliya was such a poisonous snake, Shishupal considered it as an ordinary water snake and nothing big deal in subduing such a water snake. Anybody can do that. That was his understanding. Another example is given of Shishupal mocking Lord Krishna lifting Govardhan hill, that it is just like a child lifting a small piece of mud. It's not a big deal, but somehow the Brajavasis made a big deal out of it and you are an ordinary person. So it is very laughable that Shishupal, because of his envy, was completely covered, and even the most extraordinary, beyond human pastime that were displayed by Lord Krishna, Shishupal could never understand Krishna's position because of his envy. So Kunti Maharani is calling such envious, rebellious souls as foolish observers. That means although Lord Krishna is present before them, they are never able to appreciate his position. And what to speak of such foolish observers, even the great devotees of the Lord, as we discussed, although the reason is different for them. So the reason is not they being ignorant, the reason is Krishna wants to relish his reciprocation of feelings with them and with their sincere love. Like Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, they used to give Krishna trivial tasks which were difficult for an ordinary child. Like sometimes Nanda Maharaj used to ask Krishna to carry his wooden sleepers, or sometimes he used to ask Krishna to bring the wooden sitting board. And Krishna, with great difficulty, would lift that up and bring it with great pleasure. So that reciprocation would not have been possible if Krishna revealed himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in real sense, the activities that were mocked by Shishupal of Lord Krishna, the understanding, if we see, is true, but the attitude is wrong. How the understanding is true? It is explained in Bhagavatam that Kaliya snake in front of the might of Lord Krishna, who has a Anantashesh as his snake bed. who is unlimitedly more, who is unlimitedly bigger, more powerful than Kaliya. Kaliya was nothing in front of Krishna's might. But that attitude of Shishupal of mocking Lord Krishna, that was incorrect. But the principle what he is mentioning is true, that in front of Krishna, the Kaliya snake was an ordinary water snake. That's what Balaramji also felt, that Lord Krishna never plays with me like this, like how he's playing with Kaliya. Or in front of Lord Krishna, through the expansion, through the Ananta Shesh, holding all the different planetary systems on his own hood. So in front of Ananta Shesh holding so many planets which are of unlimited weight and all, Krishna lifting Govardhan is nothing. It is not even an effort for him. However, the attitude of again Shishupal, because of his envy towards the Lord, that attitude was something which was not correct. So the principle is correct, but attitude was totally wrong. Is there any question, comment, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, on these envious or rebellious or the foolish observers completely being covered by Lord Krishna's material energy? Hare Krishna. So I'm not able to differentiate between hands of devotees who want to recite versus somebody who has a question. So feel free to unmute yourself if you want to add anything. Usha Kamat Mataji, Divya Rukmini Mataji, would like to add something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Vipin Vilas Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Danvat Pranam.
Danvat.
Another example, Prabhuji, Dantavakra also, no, Prabhuji. Like Sisupal and Dantavakra, both, because he is also claiming that he is the real Krishna, like that.
Yes, so what was the name of that person, not Dantavakra, who used to claim himself as Krishna, and he used to show 4 hands and also Sudarshan Chakra. Poundraka, yes. Poundraka.
Yes, sorry, Poundraka, yes. Yeah.
Yes, so he used to dress himself as Krishna, and not only dress himself, it's such laughable thing. He used to claim that real Krishna is imitating me and I am the real Supreme Lord. So sometimes when Maya wants to really act on a person, she can really act to great extent that they themselves.
Prabhuji, when Jarasandha was that na Prabhuji? Jarasandha.
Yes. So Jarasandha, he mocked Krishna when Krishna, Bhimasen and Arjun, they went in a disguised form to Jarasandha and requesting for charity. And in charity, they asked for a duel fight. And
Yes.
Jarasandha basically recognized, based on the appearance of Arjuna and Bhima, who had so many marks on their body of being attacked by different weapons during fights, etc. And Jarasandha mocked Arjuna as being younger than him, so he's not equal to fight. And he mocked Krishna as being somebody who Jarasandha is not able to verify his parentage, whether he is really a Kshatriya, because although apparently Krishna was born in a Kshatriya family to Vasudeva and Devaki, he was raised as a coward. So Jarasandha said he's not an equal match with me to fight, but Bhimasen is, yes, he's a good match. So he mocked Jarasandha, also mocked Krishna.
And
Hare-
Prabhuji, even like Indradev and Brahmaji also got like bewildered. Yeah.
Even
Yes.
Dhritarashtra didn't understand Krishna, right?
Yes, Dhritarashtra also didn't understand up till the point when his eyes were opened finally by the instruction of Vidura.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji's Mataji's, for so many examples. Now we proceed to the next prayer. So the link between this prayer and the next prayer is Kunti Devi is basically out of her humility. She is considering herself as a agya, as a ignorant person who is not able to understand Lord Krishna. Then she mentions that yes, she mentions her own incapability to understand Lord Krishna when even such great persons as Paramahamsas and great Munis, the great speculators, they are also not able to understand Krishna perfectly, then what to speak of me, my dear Lord, who I am a simple woman. So we'll recite this verse first. Divya Rukmini Mataji, Hare Krishna, you want to recite?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tatha Paramahamsanam.
Tatha Paramahamsanam.
Muninam Amalatmanam.
Muninam Amalatmanam.
Bhakti Yoga Vidanartham.
Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham.
Kadham Pashyemahi Striya.
Katham Pashyemahi Striya. Translation.
Translation. You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly? Hare
Yes.
Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Namaji. So Queen Kunti is praying that for such a Paramahamsas, transcendentalist, and for such a great speculators, Munis, it is Lord Krishna who needs to descend to dissipate the transcendental knowledge so that they can understand him to an extent. Then what is the possibility of me being a simple woman, my dear Lord, to understand you perfectly? And this verse is very important because in this verse, Srila Prabhupada explains, although the speciality of the woman class, so as such, there are few conclusions from this prayer. One conclusion is that how Krishna has given a very special attribute, a special quality in each one of us to try to approach him in devotional service. And another thing we see is none of us, including the women or any other class, including as such, all of us are Shudras, considering this our qualification based on the scriptures in Kali Yuga. But no person in whatever strata of society we belong to can mention that because of this and this limitation, I cannot become a pure devotee. How becoming a pure devotee is feasible for each and everyone, that also we can understand. Divya Rukmini Mataji, you are comfortable to read through highlighted part?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay. Even the great philosophical speculators cannot have access to the region of the Lord. So then
women in general.
Okay. Women in general are unable to speculate like philosophers, but they are blessed by the Lord because they believe at once in the superiority and almightiness of the Lord, and thus they offer obeisances without reservation. The Lord is so kind that he does not show special favor. One second, Prabhu. Special favor only to one who is a great philosopher. He knows the sincerity of purpose for his reason only. Women generally assemble in great number in any sort of religious function. In every country and in every sect of religion appears that the women are more interested than the men. The simplicity of acceptance of the Lord's authority is more effective than showy, insincere religious
fervor.
Insincere religious fervor.
Fervor. Thank you, Mataji.
Fervor, yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So here, although Kunti Devi, out of her humility, one second. Kunti Devi is basically positioning herself as an ordinary woman who is, how come it is possible for me to understand the Lord? Srila Prabhupada is explaining here how women in general have been bestowed by the Lord with this great quality of developing their faith very quickly and in a very nice way on the Lord. Basically, they don't need so many explanations They don't need rational reasoning. They don't need so many references from the scripture for Lord Krishna's position to be established as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And because of their fixed faith on the Lord, they are able to participate in great numbers very quickly in any religious function to approach the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada mentions here in the purport, for this reason only, women generally assemble in great number in any sort of religious function. In every country and in every sect of religion, it appears that the women are more interested than the men. This simplicity of acceptance of the Lord's authority is more effective than showy, insincere religious fervor. So nobody can say that I am at a disadvantaged position to understand the Lord. He has given, basically, say for example, there are many scholars like the even the sages of Naimisharanya who could ask so many intelligent questions for the well-being of the people in general, for the upliftment of people of Kali Yuga, and they got benefited subsequently, and they would have gone back to Godhead as well. But no one can say that probably I am not at that level of philosophical understanding. Am I at a disadvantaged stage to understand Krishna? Not at all. What Krishna is more interested is in simplicity of our acceptance of the process of devotional service. The simpler we are in our heart, it's easier for one to progress in Krishna consciousness. There is one verse in Bhagavad Gita as well, if somebody can help pinpoint the verse number, where Krishna mentions that the doubtful souls, they cannot be happy either in this life or they cannot be happy in the next life. For a doubtful, it is very difficult to progress in Krishna consciousness. So that doesn't mean that we keep blind faith. Prabhupada mentioned that we should convince our intelligence, our reasoning. But once we are convinced, then we should surrender fully. We should surrender completely. Then we will be able to understand Krishna. So let me once go back to the slides. Oops. Oh, 1 second. Prabhuji's Mataji, anybody knows why the video is not showing here? Sometimes it shows, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, fine. So then Kunti's question is, how can a woman like me know Lord Krishna when such great transcendentalists, they also need Krishna's help? But the answer to this is because Krishna has bestowed woman class with this faith in Krishna's position and easy participation, like they are easier to take up to devotional service. So now we recite the next verse. So Kunti Maharani is praying, if I cannot understand you because of me being in an ignorant position, she is giving examples of those persons who were more fortunate in terms of understanding Krishna's position because of their position in devotional service. So see, Kunti Devi is glorifying different devotees based on the level gradation of their fortunes in understanding Lord Krishna. So who are these devotees? Let's see. Who is the next devotee who wants to recite? Hare Krishna. Prema Priya Jayashri Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Yeah, I'll recite.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Devaki Nandanaya cha.
Devaki Nandanaya cha.
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya.
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya
Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you. So before we go through the details of this verse, one point I just recollected. Even now, we see the participation in our Bhakti Vaibhav or any course you take that is being conducted by ISKCON Mangalore, we will find that maximum active participation is by Matajis. So this also proves Srimad Bhagavatam point, how because of the simplicity of the heart that has been granted by Lord Krishna, women also have very good advantage in reaching the stage of pure devotional service. So everybody is basically has been given some sort of age or other by the Lord to take up devotional service. It is only a question of whether we leverage on it, we utilize it. Hare Krishna. Translation, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada. Queen Kunti specifically adores incarnation or descent. I'm sorry, I went to the puppet. Yeah, translation. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and the other cowherd man of Vrindavana, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses.
Thank you. Thank you. No, we'll take a pause.
Yeah.
So in this verse, Kunti Devi is basically glorifying the fortune at different levels of different great devotees of the Lord, including starting with Krishnaya Vasudevaya. So Krishna's father is Vasudev and Krishna is called Vasudev. Vasudev means the son of Vasudev is Vasudev. So Kunti Devi is glorifying the position of Vasudev, that he basically, there is a story behind. We know that Prushni and Sutapa, they performed great austerities in order to achieve Lord Vishnu as their child, and they were granted the boon by Lord Vishnu that he would appear as their child for 3 lifetimes, and one of them being Vasudev and Devaki. So Kunti Devi is glorifying the position of Vasudev because of having Lord Krishna as his son. But more glorious than Vasudev is the position of Devaki. Why Devaki is more fortunate than Vasudev? Prabhuji,
She's bearing him, Prabhuji. She's bearing him.
Yes. So Lord Krishna personally resided within the womb of Devaki. Basically, from the heart of Vasudev, Lord Krishna entered the heart of Devaki, and from the heart of Devaki, Lord Krishna moved to the womb of Devaki. So because her body is being personally used as a residence by the Lord, she is considered as more fortunate than Vasudev. And more fortunate than Devaki is mentioned as Nanda Maharaj. Why? Specifically Nanda Maharaj, other devotees. Gunashri Mataji, Hare Krishna. You want to try?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, yes, Mataji.
Yeah, because maybe he thought to spend the childhood pastimes with
Yes.
of Lord Krishna.
Yes, so Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, we see that although Vasudev and Devaki gave birth to Lord Krishna spent more time displaying his childhood pastimes, which are considered as very, very sweet. And we have few verses from Srimad Bhagavatam explaining a very exalted nature of Lord Krishna's childhood pastimes and the fortune of personalities like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda in witnessing them. So because Nanda Maharaj got to witness the interactions and childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna more than Vasudev and Devaki, he is considered even more fortunate and glorious. And more fortunate than Nanda Maharaj is who?
Yashoda.
Is
What boys say?
Yashoda.
Gopis.
Yeah, before Gopis, Yashoda Mai. Even more fortunate than Nanda Maharaj is considered Yashoda Mai. Why? Any thoughts by other devotees who have not spoken? Sanjukta Mataji, Usha Kamat Mataji, you want to give a try?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yashoda Mai itself, she herself take care of the Krishna, and this Krishna was doing so much Leela with Yashoda Mai.
Yes, Krishna had so many intimate pastimes with Yashoda Mai, and she was even able to bind Lord Krishna. And in that particular in a pastime it is mentioned that even the great yogis, despite being able to travel at the speed of mind, are not able to catch Krishna. So how is it possible for Yashoda Mai to catch Krishna? So her love for Krishna was such immense that Krishna agreed to be bound by her motherly affection and let her get bound by rope by Mother Yashoda. So her fortune is considered as even more greater than even Nanda Maharaj. And Nanda Gopa Kumaraya, then basically Kunti Devi is glorifying the coward boyfriends of Lord Krishna, the Gopa Kumaras, all the coward friends, and even topmost than the coward friends are the gopis of Vrindavan. But if we see this particular verse, the mention of the gopis is avoided by Kunti Devi. And the great acharyas, our predecessor acharyas, they give the explanation that, hang on, 1 second, give me 1 minute. Yeah, they give the explanation that Kunti Devi did not mention about gopis because of the very confidential nature of Lord Krishna's pastime and the topmost quality of gopis' devotion and inability of the conditioned persons in general to appreciate the gopis' position in devotional service. So although gopis stand topmost in this hierarchy, Kunti Devi has gone only up till the coward friends of Lord Krishna. And there is one more point. Let me see if it is in this verse before we go through the purport, or it is in the next verses. 1 second. Yes, it is in the next verse. So we have not missed anything. Now we go through the part of the purport. Prema Priya Jayashri Mataji, want to read through the part?
Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Prabhuji? Queen Kunti specifically adores the incarnation or descent of Lord Krishna above all other incarnations because in this particular incarnation, he is more approachable. In the Rama incarnation, he remained a king's son from his very childhood. But in the incarnation of Krishna, although he was the son of a king, he at once left the shelter of his real father and mother, King Vasudeva and Queen Devaki, just after his appearance and went to the lap of Yashoda Mai to play the part of an ordinary covered boy in the blessed Vrajabhumi, which
Hare Krishna, we are not able to hear Mataji. Is it only me? Others are able to hear?
And the family. Had he not become the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, Queen Kunti could not claim him to be her nephew and thus address Krishna in the parental affection. But Nanda and Yashoda are more fortunate because they could relish the Lord's childhood pastimes, which are more attractive than all other pastimes. There is no parallel to his childhood pastimes as exhibited at Vrajabhumi, which are replicas of his eternal affairs in the original Krishnaloka, described as the Chintamani Dhama in the Brahma Samhita. Lord Sri Krishna descended himself at Vrajabhumi with all his transcendental entourage and paraphernalia. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore confirmed that no one is as fortunate as the residents of Vrajabhumi, and specifically the cowherd girls who dedicated their everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. So it is explained about the fortune of the gopis that there are four parts of Lord Krishna's age when he is growing up. And first Leela or the pastimes of the Lord when Krishna is very young are called, yes, what do we call Lord Krishna's initial pastimes when Krishna is just growing as an infant child?
Bala Leela, Prabhuji. Bala Leela.
Bala Leela. Yes, Bala Leela. And then next, other devotees. Mangala Mai Shri Prada Mataji. After Bala Leela, what comes next for Lord Krishna?
Paundraka, Prabhuji.
Huh?
Paundraka.
Pauganda Leela. Yes. Pauganda Leela. And after Pauganda Leela, what next? Jagadananda Prabhu, you want to try?
Yovana also.
There is one more stage. What or other devotees also you can try. Don't worry about being right or wrong. So Balya Lila, or which is also called, there is one more word for Balya Lila.
Kaumara.
Kaumara Lila, yes. Kaumara Lila or Balya Lila are same. Then Pauganda Lila. Then what next after Pauganda?
Kaishora.
Kaishora, yes. Kaishora Lila and then Yauvana. So, and Lord Krishna never ages beyond Kaishora Lila. Even when he was a great grandfather of the descendants of Yadu dynasty, he still remain in the Yauvana stage only. He doesn't age beyond that. So typically these age groups are mentioned as 0 to 5 is Balya Lila or Kaumara Lila. 6 to 10 for a typical child. 6 to 10 is the Pauganda age, 11 to 15 is Kaishora, and 16 onwards is Yauvana. But in case of Lord Krishna, there are few reasons, and one of could be, basically we can just speculate, is Lord Krishna's time within Vrindavan is limited. He only stayed about 10 years and 8 months, or about little less than 11 years of age in Vrindavan. So Krishna, he cleared these stages one after another very quickly than an ordinary child. So Krishna was in the Kaumara stage from 0 to 3 years, 4 months, around 3.5 years. And 3 years, 4 months till 6 years, 8 months, he was in the Pauganda stage. And beyond that, in the around close to 7 onwards, for next 3.5 years, he was in the Kaishora stage. And it is explained that maximum part of his time that was dedicated to his leelas during the Kaishora stage was spent with the growing up, he spent with the Gopakumaras, the cowherd boys, and then Kaishora stage was specifically spent with the gopis, the esoteric pastimes. And that is the reason why gopis are considered on the topmost level. And here also in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's validation of this point, how the cowherd girls, the damsels of Rajabhumi, the gopis, their stature in devotional service, it stands on the topmost level. So let's go back to the slides once. Let me check the chat. Yes, so thank you, Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji, for sharing this verse from Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna mentions that the ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures, they do not attain God consciousness, and for such a doubting soul, there is no happiness either in this life or even the next one. So now let us see what are the special characteristics or the benefits of 2 stages of Krishna's pastime. As such, each and every pastime of Lord Krishna is equally potent, but his childhood pastimes are glorified in the scriptures for ordinary men, because the pastimes with the gopis are very esoteric ones, and person definitely needs a certain level of realization to appreciate that. But his childhood pastimes, even a ordinary person can get benefited who is still in the material sphere of life. So let's recite this beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we discuss the verse. Anybody would like to recite this verse? Hare Krishna. Mangala Mai Shri Prada Mataji, Hare Krishna, you can unmute.
Not this one, Prabhuji.
Not, okay, fine. I will ask
Kunti
you.
Stuti.
Kunti Stuti, fine, no problem. So let me see who other devotees. Lalita Vinodini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Shri Rajo Vacha.
Shri Rajo Uvacha.
Yena Vatarena. Bhagavan Hari Ishwarah.
Bhagavan Hari Ishwarah.
Karoti Kardaram Yani.
Karoti
Kardaram Yami.
Manojnani Chana Prabhu.
Manojnani Chana Prabhu.
Yachrinvato Apaiti. Yeah, okay, that's a different meter. Yachrinvato Apaiti.
यच्छृण्वतोऽपैति
हरतिर्वितृष्णा
अरतेर्वितृष्णा
सत्त्वं च शुद्धयति
सत्त्वं च शुद्धयति
शुद्धयति
शरीरेण पुंसः
अचिरेण
अचिरेण
पुंसः
विहरौ तत्
भक्तिर्हरौ तत्
पुरुषे च सख्यम्
पुरुषे च सख्यम्
तदेवहारम्
तदेव हारम्
तदमन्यसे चेत्
वदन्यसे
Thank you, Mataji. So
Prabhu,
here,
all the lines are single shloka or 4 plus 5?
these are 2 shlokas consecutive. Yeah, 10, 7, 10th canto, 7th chapter, shloka 1 and 2.
Okay. Just started.
Okay. I think by mistake, I put 1 space. I'll remove it shortly.
No, Prabhu,
So,
I did not understand. That's why I'm asking.
So in this particular verse, basically, Shukadev Goswami is, 1 second. Parikshit Maharaj is basically glorifying the childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna. This comes at the very beginning of the childhood pastime, I think near the near the pastime of Krishna killing Trunavarta. So Parikshit Maharaj is glorifying these activities, the childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna, with 6 different benefits. And which are these 6 different benefits? These pastimes are very pleasing to the ears. So while the esoteric pastimes with the gopis, they cannot be understood if the heart is not pure, but there is no such constraint or restriction for the childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna. Even an ordinary person full with material proclivities can still get benefited. These are very pleasing to the ears. They remove any unattractiveness to hearing Lord's pastime. So even if a person who is not having attraction to hear about the Lord, even he will develop attraction to hear about the Lord if he accidentally also comes to hear about Lord's childhood pastimes. Third benefit is mentioned as these pastimes are very pleasing to the mind. Then fourth one is they cleanse our heart. They remove the dirty things from the mind because Krishna's childhood activities are so attractive. Hearing about them removes the attraction to hear about material things, which is the root cause of material existence. So they cleanse our heart of all the misgivings. And fifth one, devotional service and attachment for Lord develops if we hear about Lord's pastimes. And we also build friendship with devotees. If we hear, obviously, if we hear in the association of the devotees, then we are able to, what is that word that is used? Sakhyam. Where is that word in the verse? Manojnani, na?
Last but one, Prabhuji.
Bhaktir harau tat purushe cha sakhyam. Yes. So sakhyam, that means we develop our friendship with the devotees if we hear along with the devotees about Lord Krishna. So all these 6 benefits are available if one takes advantage of the childhood pastimes. Plus qualification wise, there are no stringent constraints like there are for understanding the pastimes with the gopis. So that's why the position of Nanda and Yashodamai is glorified because they got to witness such pastimes firsthand, live, not in terms of recorded pastimes. And there is also a very wonderful verse, considering the time constraint, we won't recite the verse, but where the ladies of the Mathura, they are glorifying the astonishing fortune of the gopis that materially speaking, they had not done austerities or they were not like great yogis in terms of their philosophical understanding or analytical understanding of Lord Krishna's pastimes. They were very, very simple hearted, coward friends, coward girlfriends of Lord Krishna. So the ladies of Mathura, they wonder, what austerities must the gopis have performed? With their eyes, they even drink the nectar of Lord Krishna's form, which is the essence of loveliness and is not to be equaled or surpassed. That form is the only abode of beauty, fame, and opulence. It is self-perfect, ever fresh, and extremely rare. So the ladies of Mathura, they are really, and in fact, we also see in Krishna book that the gopis, basically, when Krishna has moved to Mathura, they also, in a way, externally speaking, they become angry at Lord Krishna that probably, my dear Lord, now you have more sophisticated and more, what you can say, more sophisticated ladies of Mathura to enchant you. So why would you feel the need of association or of the company of simple coward girls like us in Vrindavan? Obviously, you have better associates, qualified associates in Mathura. So the qualification of the gopis was their unalloyed love for Lord Krishna, which made them on a topmost level of devotional service, even when compared against some of the very sophisticated and other qualified devotees of the Lord. So maybe we will consider, is it okay, Prabhuji's Mataji's, if we continue for 5-7 minutes?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay, we'll just
Prabhuji.
cover this part and then we conclude. This is a very important part of today's discussion. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mangalamai Mataji, you want to recite this verse? Next
Yes,
prayer.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Nama Pangajanabhaya.
Namah Pankajanabhaya.
Nama Pangajamaline.
Namah Pankajamaline.
Nama Pangajanetraya.
Namah Pankajanetraya.
Namaste Pankajangarye.
Namaste Pankajangarye. Translation.
My respectful obeisances are unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with the depression like a lotus flower, who are always decorated with the garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with the lotuses.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. So Kunti Devi, although being the aunt of Lord Krishna, but because of her pure devotional status, Kunti Devi is completely aware, cognizant of Lord Krishna's position as the Supreme Lord. And here she is playing a dual role of being Lord Krishna's pure devotee, also not to make Krishna embarrassed, because Krishna being her nephew and his superior, his aunt, is offering Lord Krishna the prayer. So she doesn't want to make Krishna awkward. So how is she meditating on the lotus body of the Lord? She is starting her meditation from the Pankajanabhaya, from the lotus navel of Lord Krishna, and then going to Namah Pankaja Maline. Pankaja Maline means basically going up on his lotus form to glorify the garland which is decorating the beautiful neck of the Lord. Pankaja Maline, one who is decorated with lotus garland. Namah Pankaja Netraya. Kunti Devi is then going to the lotus face of the Lord to glorify the Lord as one whose eyes are like lotus. And then finally she is coming to Namaste Pankajangrahe. Pankajangrahe means one whose feet are like lotus, one who has got the lotus feet. Unto you, the soles of whose feet are engraved with lotus flowers. So these are some of the auspicious symbols that are present, auspicious marks that are present on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So typically we see in different scriptures, specifically in Kapila Dev's teachings to Devahuti, 3rd canto, Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us how we should take darshan of the Lord. We should first go from lotus feet onwards, then we go to the ankles, the knees, the thighs, the waist, the chest, neck, arms, and then we go to the lotus face. We directly don't take darshan of the lotus face of the Lord. That is the normal way the Acharyas have taught us, the scriptures teach us how we should take darshan of the Lord. But Kunti Devi is starting from the navel so that Lord Krishna is not felt awkward because of a superior person, because of his own aunt offering her prayers starting from his lotus feet. But gradually, then she is coming to the lotus feet of the Lord by Namaste Pankajangre. So I'll just quickly read through the highlighted part of the purport. The Lord may appear as one of us, but he is always distinct by his specific bodily features. Srimati Kunti claims herself unfit to see the Lord because of her being a woman. This is claimed because women, Shudras, the laborer class, and the Dvija Bandhus, or the wretched descendants of the higher three classes, are unfit by intelligence to understand transcendental subject matter concerning the spiritual name, fame, attributes, forms, etc. of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Such persons, although they are unfit to enter into the spiritual affairs of the Lord, can see him as the Archa Vigraha, who descends to the material world just to distribute favors to the fallen souls, including the above mentioned women, Shudras, and Dvija Bandhus. So, Bhagavatam is explaining us how in our fallen condition, we cannot really have service to the Lord based on the Smaranam alone. We need some physical engagement to do that Smaranam. And that physical engagement is mentioned by Srila Prabhupada as two things. One is rendering devotional service to the deity form of the Lord, Archa Vigraha. Why? Because with the Archa Vigraha form, we can engage our material senses, including we can see the beautiful form of the Lord, we can dress the Lord, we can engage our limbs in touching the Lord, we can also smell the flowers that are offered to the Lord, we can hear about the Lord. So specifically 2 points Srila Prabhupada stresses. One is engaging our senses in worshipping the deity in Archa Vigraha form, and second is about Shravanam, about hearing. So our Smaranam of the Lord should be through these 2 processes of doing deity worship and also hearing about the Lord. Then we can do the Smaranam, what Kunti Devi is doing. Srila Prabhupada also, I'll read one particular highlighted part. Give me a second. Yes. Mangalamai Mataji, you want to read through this last part? All the great acharyas.
Yes, Prabhuji. All the great acharyas established such temples of worship to worship in all places just to favor the less intelligent, and one should not pose himself as transcending the stage of temple worshipper while one is actually in the category of the Sudras and the women or less. One should begin to see the Lord from his lotus feet, gradually rising to the thighs, waist, chest, and the face. One should not try to look at the face of the Lord without being accustomed to seeing the lotus feet of the Lord. Srimati Kunti, because of her being the aunt of the Lord, did not begin to see the Lord from the lotus feet because the Lord might feel ashamed, and thus Kunti Devi, just to save a painful situation for the Lord, began to see the Lord just above his lotus feet, that is, from the waist of the Lord, gradually rising to the face, and then down to the lotus feet. In the round, everything there is in order. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Manish. So although Kunti Devi has covered all the sequence of different limbs of the Lord, how they should be taken darshan of, for an ordinary devotee like us, we should start from the lotus feet of the Lord. Now, next verse is very important, Prabhuji, but there is a group activity, so it will take some time to discuss. So I suggest maybe we'll cover it in the next session. Okay. Examples of different devotees who were put in great danger by the Lord, but how, while putting such a devotee in great danger, the Lord is very, very attentive to the needs of this devotee, and he never leaves such a devotee alone on his or her own whenever they are in dangerous circumstances. Lord Krishna is personally attentive to protecting such devotees. So we will see this in the next session, where Kunti Devi basically compares the calamities that were faced by Devaki versus her own life, and basically glorifies Krishna that, my dear Krishna, how you have been even more kind to me, seeing me in a helpless situation, because for Devaki, at least Devaki had Vasudev to accompany her, to support her, and to protect her to an extent. But Kunti Devi, as such, was even in a more helpless condition than Devaki, because Pandu had died prematurely, and Dhritarashtra, as the patriarch of the Kuru family, did not do his duty properly of protecting Kunti and the Pandavas. So she was in a more helpless condition. How Krishna showed Devaki, how Krishna showed Kunti more favor than what he showed to Devaki. That's what Kunti Devi is praying. So we will see this in the next verse. Are there any questions, comments, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna. Anand Vilas Keshav Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, once we were discussing about deity worship previously, so I also asked that point, but I could not find the reference. I think this is the line all the great acharyas. So here it is mentioned that unless one considers himself of low category like Sudra and all, so the deity worship is meant for those. So means how to justify this statement?
Okay, so I'll just read
Because-
that statement again. Okay, yes, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Because when we see Mayavadis or some Nirakarvadi or some Samadhi people, so they also say that deity worship is for less intelligent people. And here Prabhupada is like, it seems that he is also saying same, but how to understand this sentence?
Okay, so before we go through Srila Prabhupada's purport, very simple. Deity worship, the crux of deity worship is to give an opportunity for us to physically engage our senses, which may be contaminated, to physically perceive the Lord and to have interaction with the Lord, which is very difficult in a material sphere of life. If we try to approach the Lord at the level of Manasa Puja, at the level of offering him worship on a mental platform, because it will get distracted, mind will get distracted in so many ways. So all the great acharyas established such temples of worship in all places just to favor the less intelligent, and one should not pose himself as transcending the stage of temple worship while one is still actually. So if we are not at a level where we are able to meditate on Lord Krishna without distraction in our mind, then we need an arrangement where we are able to engage our physical senses. That means even if my mind is wandering anywhere, if I am engaged in cleaning the pots in the DT kitchen, obviously I will be able, that will be easier for me to focus my mind on and purify ourselves. So when we say less intelligent, it is only exceptions are those devotees who are at such an advanced platform of devotional service that any place you put them in, they can just close their eyes and still meditate on the Lord without distraction. Only they are the exceptions. Rest, all of us, we definitely fall in these categories mentioned.
Yes, Prabhuji, that's what other religion people or that's what Nirakarvadi says, that we do not do deity worship because
we are advanced.
For less intelligent, we are advanced, so we have given advanced process, and that is for less intelligent people. So means it is supporting their statement, kind of, it seems.
See, they may consider devotees who are doing Archa Vigraha Puja, deity worship as being less intelligent, but their own status is definitely, their own meditation on the Lord is definitely not on the topmost form of the Lord. They are able to meditate only up till the very preliminary stage of Krishna's understanding, which is the Brahman basically. So from the explanation of Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, we can understand that Lord Krishna's very preliminary understanding in terms of Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan, they are able to reach at. So they may call devotees at a lower strata of devotional service, but they themselves are not able to reach even the the personal form of the Lord, which even the devotees in the lower strata are able to reach. So that is the thing. In case of pure devotees, definitely Archa Vigraha Puja is not mandatory for them. But in case of Nirakar Vadis, they are not even able to reach the devotee up till the level of very preliminary stage. Their understanding is still lesser than that. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead.
Less intelligent devotee is better than Nirakarvadi.
Yes, because the less intelligent devotee is still convinced of the personal form of the Lord and is able to do interaction, which the Nirakarvadis are not able to appreciate. And according to Bhagavatam, that personal form is the topmost form. So we may be less in terms of strata in devotional service compared to the pure devotees who can meditate on the Lord, but that understanding that a preliminary devotee has is still the highest, is still better than the Nirakarvadis.
Okay, so yes, Prabhu. So I understood this as means if Prabhupada is saying less intelligent devotee means he's comparing with devotees, not Nirakarvadi.
Correct. Nirakarvadi's understanding is still at a very preliminary level, even considered to the primary class of devotees, basic class of devotees. Aishwarya Subhadra Mataji, I don't know whether Mataji is still here. No, she.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Radhika here. I can just add one thing to this because after your last line, I think this was during Ram Mandir. When the mandir was done, people were asking, was it required and all that. And there was a very nice lecture which came up where they very clearly told, yes, it is required because we are not in that high platform where we can meditate on the Lord without seeing the Lord. Example like Madhavacharya, all of them could see, but we need an Acha Vigraha. And when I'm telling we, in the sense, most of us need an Acha Vigraha to relate to the Lord. So that's the thing I think you were also trying to mention on the last line. Right? Yes. People like us need to see the deity to get the picture.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. And what to speak of us, even the example which Ragini Mataji just mentioned of Madhvacharya, one of the two lessons or essence from Madhvacharya Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took, one was deity worship. And it is considered the worship of the deity of Udupi Krishna, which is the headquarter of the Madhva Sampradaya, is one of the topmost ones. So if such great acharyas are establishing such detailed worship of the Archa Vigraha form, then yes, it also is credible way to worship the Lord. It is not ordinary.
Prabhuji, Udupi Krishna is Bala level, no? Bala Krishna.
Yes, but we are talking about worship of the Archa Vigraha form. Madhva worship was considered as one of the essence of Madhva Sampradaya by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Prema Prakash Haridas Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The Archa Vigraha worshipping is very much essential to keep the control of the mind. When one develops replacement of the mind, and that develops with the development of rati, a strong and deep attachment to the Lord by bhava, that's when the mind is replaced by rati. That's when the Archa Vigraha worshipping may not be necessary.
Yes, so see,
Am I right in whatever I understood?
I'm just a bit skeptical about the last point because even the pure devotees, we see, you take example of Rukmini Devi, you take example of Sita Devi, you take example of Dashrath Maharaj. There are so many examples of pure devotees in the scriptures. None of them is ordinary person, and all of them had personal deity form of the Lord. Rukmini Devi's own husband is Lord Krishna. She had the deity of Lord Krishna that she worshipped. Dashrath Maharaj's own son was the Supreme Lord. He had his own deity of the Supreme Lord to be worshipped. So the point I'm trying to convey is that deity worship is not something ordinary. Even these devotees at the topmost platform of devotional service, they are also showing through their example how important it is. So yes, one thing is we definitely can't meditate on the Lord on the mental platform, which the pure devotees can do. But point I'm trying to stress, even such pure devotees, they also engage in devotional service. So it is not an ordinary activity. Is that all right, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Even
Krishna.
Lord Brahma, the deity in Srirangam of Lord Ranganath Swami is from Treta Yuga, being worshipped from Maharaj Ishwaku himself, and deity worship established personally by Lord Brahma. So Archa Vigraha worship is not ordinary.
And Sri Rangam was the deity worship of even Kaushalyamma.
Kaushalyamma,
in
yes.
Kaushalya. Yes. And she prayed before Rama was born there.
Yes.
Deity worship has existed for years, Prabhuji. For yugas. That's why we call it prana pratishta. We give consciousness to the. It is just not a, what you call it, as a
statue.
We give the prana pratishta. We give consciousness to it through various processes. Now, if you have seen it, the recent one, they did it for 31 days or 35 days before it was actually opened. So
yes,
it's an elaborate process. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Even without that, I have seen devotees who have just had a small picture of the Lord in their pocket, and they consider it as a deity. Even highest saints, Prabhuji, who are so-called Nirakaravadis also, they also consider it. It's not something which it's a debate for foolish, I would just call it.
Thank you, Murli Prabhu. Maybe we'll have one last comment or question. Anand Vilas Keshav Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, I just want to say that when we define Madhyamadikari or pure devotee, so there is one definition on the basis of this, that Madhyamadikari or Kanishta devotee see Lord only in the Vigraha, but Uttamadikari sees the Lord everywhere. But if he is seeing everywhere, he will also see in Vigraha. So he will respect Vigraha also, because that is expansion of Lord. So it is not that when he become pure devotee, so he will not respect Vigraha. Because if he is seeing Lord everywhere, he must see in Vigraha also. So in that way, he should worship Vigraha also.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I agree, Prabhuji. That's he's there everywhere. So he's there in the Vigraha also. That's the
yes. And other very recent examples, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself gifted his own deity form to his mother, Sachimata, when he was leaving home. And he promised to her that whenever you offer, my dear mother, be rest assured that I am myself present and I am accepting your offering physically, not just by glancing at it. So such great devotees, we saw so many examples, Rukmini Devi, Dasharath Maharaj, and Sachimata, Ramanujacharya, and so many who have got their own personal deity worship. So thank you all, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, very much. And we will continue from text 23 onwards. We request all the devotees to come. Well read. These are very important verses. And there is coming a very important point, how Lord especially attends to devotees who are in greater danger. He never leaves them alone, which is very inspiring one. We'll discuss next time. Thank you all very much. Vamcha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai, Vaishnav Thakur ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavata Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.